Greetings and welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the new Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four First Steps, the most recent Marvel movie that has come out to theaters within this last week. I went and saw it, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. Spoiler alert, though, majority of this is me liking the movie. So if you were just looking for an opinion on whether I like it or not, I liked it. I actually liked it quite a bit. I did want to say, though, before I start this, that looking back at the month of July, let's just do like a recap, since today is pretty much the last day of July for me. I'm filming this a little late, but I'm a busy man. I'm a man of the people. I have a lot of things to do. The month of July was pretty great. Like there was some really good movies this month. There was one stinky ass poopy movie, and I would have to say that was Jurassic World Rebirth. If you haven't seen that review that I did that a couple weeks back when the movie came out, and spoiler alert, that movie fucking stinks. It's terrible. I don't ever want to talk about it again. At this point in time, this will be the last time I mention it. Aside from that dog shit, everything I saw this month, I really enjoyed. Every movie I pretty much saw that I reviewed, I would probably go back and watch them another time. I just want to say, good job, Hollywood. Good job, everybody who put these films together and released them in July, because this has been a very fun month, especially for superhero fans. Superman just came out a couple weeks ago, and then 2 weeks later, we got Fantastic Four First Steps. I really liked Superman. I thought it was a really good movie. If you haven't seen my review, that one is my most recent review, I believe, at this point in time. I love that movie. I thought it was really, really good. And after watching Superman, I knew Fantastic Four would be good. I just was scared that I might have had a little too much expectations for it, mainly because Marvel has really been, and if you watch my Thunderbolts review, sorry, I'm referencing every review I've ever done here. If you watch my Thunderbolts review, which was the last major Marvel movie, I would say, before Fantastic Four First Steps, I did not like Thunderbolts. I thought it was a very mid movie. I just felt like it was inconsequential. It was very just lackluster. I don't know. It didn't really do anything besides introducing Sentry as a character and also showing a little mental illness like type stuff going on, which I really liked how they portrayed, mental anguish and all the trauma and stuff that the characters went through. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really good for the tone of the Thunderbolts movie, but really that movie stunk. In reality, the only reason you were really watching Thunderbolts is because they acted like it was the next coming of Christ. It was going to be the next Avengers or something. And it's even been relabeled as the new Avengers. It makes me upset. I'm not a big fan of that whatsoever, but it is what it is. Really, the main reason, though, you were watching Thunderbolts was because it led into Fantastic Four. At the end of Thunderbolts, if you haven't seen that movie, there is a cliffhanger that kind of gives a hint at the next Marvel movie, which is what they always do, obviously, with their post-credit scenes and their mid-credit scenes. But I'm really happy to sit here and say that everything I felt about Thunderbolts is pretty much the opposite for Fantastic Four First Steps. So to start off, I'm going to start with some positive stuff. I really just like this movie. I like the tone of this movie. I really went into this movie expecting not to love it. I didn't think I was going to I'm kind of Marvel fatigued right now. It's not a superhero thing. It's a Marvel thing. I love superhero movies. I love comics. I love all that stuff. And I'm always happy to go watch a comic book movie. Always. Unfortunately, though, I've been a little tired of Marvel. And if you've seen any of my other Marvel reviews, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of just after phase 3, after the Thanos stuff, I just felt like Marvel wasted a lot of time. It felt like there were a lot of TV shows and a lot of inconsequential characters, such as the Thunderbolts, for example, that just didn't go anywhere. And the movies that were good, in my opinion, were the ones that really relied on the nostalgia. It really, like No Way Home, it relied on me as a viewer to have known and loved every Spider-Man movie beforehand. No discredit to No Way Home. It's a cool ass movie. It's really fucking good, to be honest with you. The thing is it relies on a lot of nostalgia, though, to really make the movie impact you the way they meant for it to impact you. Same with Deadpool and Wolverine being an MCU movie now. That Deadpool had a lot of implications on the universe, and it did well with those TVA implications and multiverse stuff that they did in it. Unfortunately, though, that movie also relied on nostalgia. Not unfortunately, because I loved Wolverine and Deadpool, but it was hard to watch if you're just some random fan. Haha, it's funny, but I don't get the references. That's how a lot of people probably felt about No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine. So what I'm trying to say here is the phases that they've gone through since Endgame, there's just been a lot of characters that are just casual. It's just characters that the fans don't really give a fuck about. We want to see the real heroes, the ones that are going to lead into fighting Kang and Galactus and Doctor Doom. Unfortunately, Kang is pretty much out the door now, but Regardless, that's what they were trying to build to, and it just didn't work. And it just seems like they just started padding a little bit. And I think it just fatigued a lot of fans. Again, I've said this before. I said this in my Superman review, but Marvel had this moment after Endgame where there was a group of fans that were like, okay, Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone, everybody's gone now. I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. It peaked. It's over. And then there was another half of the fans that were like, no, you can't end this shit. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. It's got to get better and better. And obviously the studio has to appeal to more than less. It just has to. So of course they're going to go all in and they're going to try and build a completely new bad guy king and, build this world up. And then they acquire the X-Men, they acquire 20th Century Fox, they acquire the Fantastic Four again, and things start to kind of get bigger, but more inconsequential, it felt like. And that was where the MCU kind of was for a while there. And I'm not saying it's like not still in that position, because I do feel like a lot of Fantastic Four is setting up a broad movie, like a broad, like, oh my God, this is huge. Because it is setting up Doomsday, and Doomsday is pretty much a part one to Secret Wars. Secret Wars isn't part two, but it's technically the second part of Doomsday, if you will. So it's, if Doomsday is Infinity War, then that means that Secret Wars is most likely Endgame. So Fantastic Four is setting up this massive picture. Unfortunately, though, it's also going to have to use a lot of the junk that they've used over the last two phases that personally I don't give a fuck about. So like the She-Hulks and the Captain America Brave New World, all that shit is going to have to apply in some way to the new Doomsday movie. And unfortunately, if you're somebody that didn't really give a fuck about phases, like I believe it's 4 through 5, 4 through 6, I'm not sure where we're at anymore. If you weren't a huge fan of them, kind of how I was, I mean, I still watched everything, but I didn't care as much. If you're somebody who didn't really watch those, going into Doomsday, I don't know for sure, but it might be kind of tough. It might be kind of rough for you because this isn't Marvel 1 through 3. This isn't those first 3 phases where every single character's movie actually mattered, besides Captain Marvel, and Black Widow. And I'm not even trying to say that because they're the women. I like both those characters. They just shit the bed with those characters' movies. Black Widow was a prequel after Endgame, after she died. It was just like, what is the point? They were just trying to set up Yolanda or whatever her name is.
Yolanda, I love you. I need you. Not as my bottom bitch. I want to marry you. It's too late for that, Keyshawn.
It's just useless to me. It's all useless gibberish. If you're somebody who hasn't watched those though, you might be in a tough spot right now going into Doomsday. But I will say with Fantastic Four, it felt like just a really good starting point. As a movie by itself, I thought Fantastic Four was really good. I thought it was really, really fun. I thought all the actors were really good in this. The aesthetic of the movie, the setting is in the 1960s. It's like 1965, I want to say, 1963, but it's an alternate reality. So we're not on 616 like we normally are with the Avengers from the Thanos days and everything. We are on like 818 or 868 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the Earth is that we're on, but this is an alternate reality where the Fantastic Four are the Avengers, pretty much. They're the ones that stop all these calamities from happening. And the world loves them for it. That's really the only superheroes the world has, I believe. So they kind of just built their foundation being the Avengers of their own world. I like that. I think that's really cool. I like that this is just an alternate universe where these Fantastic Four are their own thing. They got their own thing going on. That doesn't mean there's no consequences to our world as well, the 616 world. This is just a different universe. And it's showing you that in this movie, that this is like, there are alternate realities where there are heroes that are heroes here, but not heroes in our world. And that does have a deeper documentary on like how like they acquired the 20th Century Fox stuff after they did the Endgame stuff, so there is a little bit of like a meta thing going on there. But all in all, this movie is trying to set up a combination of everything. And I think it does pretty well. I mean, like I said, it's in the 60s, so it's an alternate world. So this is a world where it's 1960s. Everybody still dresses like it's the 1960s. TVs are still big, fat, stupid, colorless boxes or whatever. But there's also flying cars. There's also like the Fantastic Four are also flying in their own car that not only drives, but it flies. You know what I mean? Like little things like that show you that it's not our world, it's theirs. And by the way, this is going to be a little lengthy of a review because I am going to go over some stuff. Oh yeah, and just want to let you guys know I'm cool as fuck. I'm wearing my "We're All Doomed." You can see it. We're all doomed shirt. So I wore that to the movie. It was pretty cool. I love the setting. I thought the setting was really good. I thought the world was really pretty. It had a very like it really pushed that 1960s vibe to it. Whereas like it'll show like news like spots of like the Fantastic Four being interviewed, and it's like ABC from like the 1960s, and it's very just like super just I don't know like blue collar, hardworking. Like it's very like old school, and I like that a lot. I like that because I originally thought like, oh god, when I first heard it was in the 60s, I was like, oh, this might be shit. I'm not sure how I feel about a non-modern day Fantastic Four movie. I liked it. I really enjoyed that. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Another thing I liked about this movie was that it didn't set up an origin story. And that's something that's been going on a lot lately. Superman did this as well, where they start you off. Your viewing starts about 3 or 4 years into these characters being established already. So this movie takes place during the 4th year anniversary of the Fantastic Four. And that's why it's such a big deal, because it's the 4th year for the Fantastic Four. So it's kind of punny in a way. The movie takes place during that time. It shows a montage of the Fantastic Four pretty much beating the living shit out of every major villain that comes their way. It doesn't show anybody that we've seen before, but it's all of their villains. And that's another thing that's really great about this movie. After you watch it, or if you're just a big comic book fan, I'm not even the biggest like Fantastic Four fan. I've read some comics, but I'm not the hugest fan of them whatsoever. This movie made me want to research them more. It made me care about them a lot more. And that can either be the fact that like I like superheroes, or it could be just the fact that they played the roles really well. Like everybody that was in this movie was really good. Between Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and then Eben Cousin from The Bear, they're all very good, and there's a lot of good chemistry there too. I think I would love to see them in another movie together. Like even if it's not Fantastic Four, I think them being together in a movie, there's a lot of chemistry there, and it was really fun watching all 4 of them on screen. This movie does really well at putting them together on screen. They talk things over. There's a lot of like deliberating with like what they're gonna do next. They work as a team really well when it comes to like fundamental planning. I like that a lot. I didn't think I would care about this that much though, and it actually made me feel like this movie felt like a phase 1 through 3 movie. It felt like it's leading to something that matters deep down. And it does. It does lead to Doomsday, and Doomsday is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a cool movie, I'm sure. But it didn't feel like the same slop that Marvel's been giving us over the last few years, where you just sit through it to get to the end credit scene. This felt like I cared about the 2 hours of these characters, and I really enjoyed that. I really appreciated that Marvel finally put some money down and did something new. Speaking of money, this movie, I have the budget up right now. The budget was about $200 million, goddamn. And that's estimated. That's before marketing. So let's just assume 300 million. Let's just assume that. It might be a little less for marketing, but marketing is pretty expensive. It grossed in its first opening week, 241 million. 241.5 million, just about. That's good. It made its money back plus some. So this movie is going to be successful, and I think it deserves to be successful. It was a cool movie. It was very good. I think this movie, if it came out during phase 1, it would probably already be at 500 million, just to be completely honest with you. And that's not me saying that because like, it was bigger back then. And yeah, it was bigger back then, but this movie deserves to be a part of that phase 1 through 3, because it, like I said, it does feel like it's leading to something finally. And it's nice to see that. It really is. Another thing I really liked about this movie, Galactus. I'm not trying to spoil anything for anybody. I'm going to try my best not to spoil until very end, where I'll tell you that I'm spoiling something. Galactus is your villain in this movie. And for the first time seeing Galactus on screen, nice. I love Galactus. To me, he's an X-Men villain, but in this, being a Fantastic Four villain, I'm pretty sure Galactus was always kind of a Fantastic Four villain to begin with. He's really fun. He's a really cool bad guy too. Like he feels like he has an impact on the world. He's not just your typical like, oh no, watch out, Green Goblin's back. He's not like your typical like, he is like a Thanos level guy. He's a planet eater. He's fucking nuts. And this movie did really well at showing him. It showed him fully, and it actually like kind of gave you a deeper look into like how he eats planets and what he does when he's like hibernating or whatever. Cause like there is a point in this movie where and that's another thing I like about this movie. Sorry to keep rambling a little bit here, but I like the pace of this movie. I like where it went and how it went about what it was doing. This movie, obviously, like I said, takes place 4 years after the Fantastic Four get their powers. So they've already been to space, and they've already established like their super abnormal powers that they have. The world loves them and everything like that. and they still can go back to space. And when Galactus finally shows up, and like pretty much when Galactus shows up, it's Silver Surfer. And Silver Surfer is probably going to be a controversial character here. I've said from the beginning, like, I don't understand why people don't like a girl Silver Surfer. Like, she's in the comics. Like, there's actually a girl Silver Surfer. Yeah, it's an alternate comic, alternate reality, but like, what's the fucking difference? You know what I mean? Like, what's the difference between having the boy one and then the Shalabal or whatever her name is one? Like, it's the same thing. Julia Garner played her really well. She's CGI, but she looks like Julia Garner, and she did really well. Her voice was cool. The way she looked was really cool. I like Silver Surfer a lot. I've always been a Galactus Silver Surfer person. So like, I was really happy to see them on screen together, and they actually looked really cool. And I'll admit, the Fantastic Four movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Lawrence Fishburne did a great job. He was a really cool Silver Surfer. It was just a stupid fucking movie. So like, you know, they didn't really give him justice. They didn't do justice by him. This movie, I felt like Silver Surfer was pretty badass. Like, she was pretty cool. I will say, this is where I'm going to lead into one of my big problems with this movie. It didn't have a lot of action. It didn't have a lot of action at all. The action that we did get was cool. It was more like Calamity style shit where things are blowing up and they're trying to escape type stuff. Other than that, though, there wasn't a whole lot of action. And that kind of stinks, because these characters are being introduced to a lot of new people, and the introduction needs to be bombastic. It needs to show you like how cool these guys are. And it does show everybody's powers individually at times. And I'll say Mr. Fantastic, the stretchy stuff, I thought he was pretty cool in this movie. This is probably the best way they've portrayed Mr. Fantastic. And obviously, we've only had a few like Fantastic Four movies. We had quite a few. You know, we had the one in the 90s, which was like $1 million movie, and it was only made to keep the rights. And then you had like the 2005 20th Century Fox ones. Those were awful or very comedic. And then you had the Fan-Fortastic or whatever, the one with Miles Teller and all them. All of them have been bad. They've all been bad. This is the best Fantastic Four movie, and this is the best way they've portrayed the characters' abilities. They really did. And that's saying a lot, because they didn't really show a lot of action in this movie, like I said. But the action we did get was cool. It was cool. And like I said, it was more Calamity style. Like, after the Silver Surfer shows up and pretty much tells everybody, you're all fucked, Galactus is coming, he's gonna fuck you all in the butt, they decide, let's go talk to Galactus. And I like that about this movie, how like the characters said, you know what? We're strong enough. Let's go talk to this motherfucker. Let's go see what this motherfucker's all about. So they go to space, they go and see Galactus and everything like that. And that's when you first fully get to see Galactus. At first, it starts with like them approaching the planet that he's about to eat, or they don't know he's about to eat it, but they literally get to the planet and he starts just kind of eating the planet, destroying it immediately. And that's our first look at Galactus. And it's like, oh my God, his ship is eating things right now. Like, this is absolutely insane. Then they end up meeting Galactus, and he looks badass. Like, he's all tall, he's all hooked up to like this like machine, and he unhooks himself, and he's kind of just like, you're fucked. And then he, you know, it kind of escalates from there. They have to escape him because he's just way too fucking powerful. And the movie does try really hard to show you that like Fantastic Four aren't like they can die. Like, things can happen. Like, things can really go wrong for them if they think that they're too strong for what they're about to fight. And that was kind of cool, but at the same time, you want to see your heroes become heroes. You want to see them like get stronger and stronger and be better and better. This movie didn't do that climb as much. Like I said, not a lot of action, but Galactus was cool. Galactus was cool. I really enjoyed seeing him on screen. One thing I have a major problem with the MCU is they rush so much to get to this point and they wasted so much time to get to this point. I really wish Galactus was given like a 2-part movie of some sort, because he is a really cool character. And maybe down the road we'll get another movie with him. But as of right now, like, I don't think they're going to have time to do another Galactus entry whatsoever. And that kind of stinks. As somebody who really likes him, it's really kind of shitty not to see him. Now, Galactus does have a huge part in the Secret Wars story altogether. I don't know where the MCU is going to go with it, because obviously they kind of acquired the rights to things a little late. So I think the building of it all is a little bit slow and, you know, kind of behind at a time. But I appreciate that we got to see him at least, and I appreciate how cool he looked in this movie. You know, he gets to the point where he actually comes down to Earth and he starts walking, and we see this in the trailer, but he's like walking over, like he like steps onto Earth and he looks over the Statue of Liberty and he like fucking flips it off or whatever. But like, it was just like insane seeing him on screen, and I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I thought the characters were really well put together. I thought the actors were really good. There was obviously a lot of chemistry there. One of the things that I'm going to talk about that I didn't like, you know, this has been kind of a trend in most superhero movies lately. CGI has gotten worse. It really has gotten worse. Like, we've been seeing that for a while now. And this movie, I thought Silver Surfer looked good. I thought Galactus looked good. So they definitely put their money into the right things, in my opinion. But I really thought that the Thing looked like shit. I understand, like, a lot of people thought he looked okay in the trailer. I didn't think he looked good in this movie. I'm also, though, the one thing I really liked about the original Fantastic Four movies, the 2005 ones, is that Michael Chiklis actually wore a suit and he looked real while he was there. You can call him a big stupid turd rock, but like he still was there, and like it was cool to see him interact being in costume. In this, it was really just mocap, and then they like, you know, CGI'd the Thing. He's cool, but like it just I'm a practical effects kind of guy. I wanted to see him actually be there, but it is what it is. We're in kind of a 2025 state now where everything is CGI, and it's all right. It's just I just thought he didn't look all that good. I also thought that Johnny Storm was cool, but I don't know, he was just more of like comedy relief at times more than anything. There, you know, he set himself on fire and flame on and flew around here and there, but again, the lack of action really kind of fucked it over a little bit. Another gripe that I kind of have is I like Vanessa Kirby a lot, but I don't know. I just feel like she's kind of above this movie. Like, I just feel like she's like a better actor than what she was kind of given for this movie. I'm not saying like Invisible Woman sucked or anything. She had a lot of like moments where she mattered a lot, especially being pregnant, because a lot of this movie is about Franklin Richards. It's about like them having their first child and Franklin Richards' implication on the MCU, which I'm not going to go into it too much, but he's like one of the most important characters when it comes down to the entire Secret Wars saga. So be ready to really pay attention to Franklin Richards in this movie. This movie is a lot about Franklin Richards. So Invisible Woman is pregnant for majority of this movie, and you know, she doesn't really get to use her powers all that much. There's a scene where she's like pregnant and she's showing Reed Richards what the baby looks like, and she kind of makes her stomach invisible and it shows the baby inside her. It was kind of cool looking, to be honest with you. So there are some moments like that that I really liked. All in all, though, I did have a problem with like the lack of action, and I also had a problem with like when they did show action, they didn't really like team up a lot. There wasn't a lot of like crazy synergy moments. I wish there was a little bit more. There was a point where like Johnny and like the Thing were flying through the air, and Johnny did the signature like throwing the Thing, like heating him up and throwing him into Galactus. That was kind of cool. There was also Invisible Woman. She put up like a force field in front of Galactus's eyes to blind him, and then Johnny like shot a fire spray like right into Galactus's eyes, and his eyes got all fucked up, and he was like, "Oh, fuck you." You know, that was kind of cool. I thought that was really cool. Other than that, though, there wasn't a lot of like crazy synergy moments where they teamed up, and that's kind of the point in the Fantastic Four, is like they team up in different ways and they combine really well, similar to how like Iron Man and Captain America, you know, like Iron Man can hit his beam on Captain America's vibranium shield and it can just like go everywhere. I wish we saw more things like that, similar to like Reed Richards, like maybe like Mr. Fantastic slingshotting the Thing into something. That would have been kind of cool. But all in all, though, I thought like with those little gripes that I have, I think they're small gripes. I don't even think they're that big of gripes. Like really, it was just the CGI, the lack of action, and just, I don't know, just Vanessa Kirby, I guess, being a little bit too good for this role. I guess those were really my only gripes with the movie. I was never really bored with the movie at all. I had a good time with it. All in all, I think this is like an 8.5. I thought this was a fun movie. Like it was good. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, what's it like compared to Superman? Completely different movies. Like, you know, when it comes down to it, Superman was a very standalone feeling movie. Fantastic Four felt like an actual Marvel MCU movie that had consequences and had implications for what's next. And with that being said, I did want to say, there is a mid-credit scene. The mid-credit scene is super important. You need to watch the mid-credit scene. It was directed by the Russo brothers, who are also directing Doomsday and Secret Wars. So you should watch that end credit scene. It's going to matter quite a bit. There is also an end credit scene, like right at the end of the credits. It's kind of just there. It's not really anything special. So if you don't stay, it's no big deal. But they did have a nice little tribute to I'm blanking on names, but Kirby, the guy who actually created the Fantastic Four, they actually did like a little like kind of like just like a tribute to him, and I thought that was pretty cool. I think, is it Jack Kirby? I don't know, I'm tired. I'm not thinking. But they did a little tribute to him at the end. I thought that was really cool. So if you want to stay for that, that's nice to see as well. All in all, though, I like the movie a lot. I thought it was really fun. This is a movie I'll watch again. I will. This is a movie that I will insert it into my MCU rewatch session. It'll be one of the ones I definitely rewatch because it has a lot of implications. It's got characters I really like, actors that I enjoyed, just moments that were very deep to the comic fans, man. Like I really like, if you watch a video on this movie, like there are so many fucking Easter eggs in this movie, man. It's fantastic. One thing I did want to say, something I thought of, and I thought this was kind of clever. This movie was so like you watch Thunderbolts, right? Like Thunderbolts to me, and this is my opinion. Some people might not agree with me. There's like a cult of people that love Thunderbolts. I think you're fucking insane, but there's Thunderbolts. And when Thunderbolts came out, it felt so inconsequential. It felt like just characters nobody gives a fuck about. And it felt like for comic fans and for like MCU, like diehards, Thunderbolts just didn't matter. But to casual fans, and I think that's why there's like a cult of idiots that like it, the casual people that just like woke up and said, Thunderbolts, let me go see that. When they went and saw that, they liked it so much because it didn't really have any like deep, like, you have to know this and you have to know that. You have to. It didn't really have that. And some might say that's a good thing, but I just thought Thunderbolts sucked. So whatever. I can't say that enough. I think Fantastic Four is the opposite. I think Fantastic Four is a movie that casual fans are going to have a tough time watching if you haven't seen anything before, but the comic fans are going to love it. And I think that's a really weird dynamic, and I think that's kind of a good way to describe this movie compared to the most recent MCU movie. 8.25. 8.25. 82%. That's what I'm giving it. Good movie. So after the review, here's a quick spoiler. I'm going to talk a little bit about Doctor Doom and what we did see and just my thoughts on that pretty much. So one thing about the mid-credit scene that annoyed me was that you didn't see Doctor Doom's face. And I don't know what the marketing was for this movie. I don't remember exactly if they said that Doom wasn't going to be in the movie or not, or Robert Downey wasn't going to be in the movie or not. But I thought it would have made sense if like at the end it showed Robert Downey as like the character, but it didn't. It just showed Doom like kind of playing with Franklin Richards. I think he's going to steal Franklin to start his multiverse, destroy everything bullshit that he's trying to do, or not destroy, but take over the world type thing that he's going to do. And Franklin, obviously his powers, he can create multiverses and all that stuff. So he's probably going to kidnap Franklin at the end there, but like it kind of cuts off before he does anything, but it only shows Doom's back and it shows him holding his helmet, but it doesn't show like who's playing him at all. And I thought that was kind of annoying because I thought like if you showed Robert Downey Jr. at the end of this, that would have made this movie really great. Like everybody would have gone crazy for that ending. Obviously we know that Doctor Doom is played by Robert Downey, but it would have just been cool to see him, I suppose. But he is an expensive man to have around. But all in all, though, I'm not sure what else we have besides Spider-Man coming out next May that will, or is it May or July? I don't remember. But the next Spider-Man is supposed to set up Doomsday for reals because Doomsday comes out December 2026. I'm not sure what else we have that can really set it up other than Spider-Man, because like the rest that we have are shows. Like we got the Punisher like thing coming out. We also have like a Wakanda show coming out. So like I'm not sure exactly what's next. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. But all in all, I'm kind of worried about what's next, just to kind of give us a little more fun to have before Doomsday. But all in all, Doomsday is going to probably be insane. Now that I'm thinking about it, like there is probably a good reason they didn't show Robert Downey's face yet, not only because of the money implications, but because in that mid-credit scene, all it really shows is Doctor Doom's back and he's holding his mask and he's interacting with Franklin Richards, and Franklin's like a toddler and he's touching Doctor Doom's face. My theory is Doctor Doom, his face is fucked up. Like we already know Doctor Doom's face is normally fucked up. Obviously Robert Downey is playing him and Robert Downey's a beautiful man, but originally Doctor Doom's face gets fucked up. And there is a comic that is very important, and I believe it's important to the overall why Iron Man is Doctor Doom. And in that comic, pretty much Dr. Doom and Tony Stark, Victor Von Doom and Tony Stark grow up together or go to college together. Pretty much some stuff transpires. You'll have to read into it yourself, but it's a long story. Dr. Doom figures out a way to switch his consciousness into Tony Stark's body. So he takes over being Tony Stark and he kind of wins the world over being Tony Stark. And that's how he becomes like this massive like monster pretty much. It's almost as if like, what if Tony Stark decided to actually build a suit of armor around the world and kind of rule the world with an iron fist? I think that's the Doctor Doom we're getting in Doomsday. I could be completely wrong, but that's my theory. And I think that's why they didn't show his face. It would have been nice though to at least like with his back turned to the camera, at least in Robert Downey's voice, him saying, "Hello, Susan," or something like that. But we didn't get that, which is unfortunate. But that was really all I wanted to talk about spoiler wise. So look into that comic if you guys get a chance. It's actually very good, and it's got a lot of like just crazy shit going on with it. And I'm almost certain with the way Kevin Feige introduced Robert Downey, they were saying like this is the only way Robert Downey can play this character. Like, it's the perfect version of this character. And that's why I think that it's more than likely the Doctor Doom that turns himself into Tony Stark or transfers the body into Tony Stark. They might change it for how they do it in Doomsday, but in that comic, he exchanges his consciousness with Tony Stark. So Tony Stark becomes Doctor Doom. So he's got like the Iron Man suit, but it's like green and silver. And then Doctor Doom, who is actually Tony Stark, well, Tony Stark, who is actually Doctor Doom, has like a Doctor Doom suit, but it's yellow, or it's like gold and red, like Iron Man. So it's kind of a switch up, but it's really, really, really cool. Go look into that. It's very cool. All in all, though, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I didn't want to go like super deep into Secret Wars or anything. You know, if you wanted to learn more about that, you can go and read something about it or watch a video about it. There's plenty out there. But Secret War is it's coming in 2027, and Doomsday is going to set that up. And you guys are in for a crazy ride. If they do this right, there's going to be some crazy shit going on. So with that being said, I like the movie. 82%. Good movie. Go and see it. Bye, guys.